Hey, Steve. Yo, what up, Street Gods? Eric Kim. All right, some turbo thoughts. So this turbo thought is about courage, audacity, vigor, etc. So vigor is interesting. Vigor, it means to be lively, to be strong, and this is kind of an important thought because I think a lot of, modern day man lacks courage, vigor. First and foremost, just get a good slim down vest jacket for the wintertime and go sleeveless. There's like this one back in the day, the shirt woot thing I saw is like I have the right to bear arms, and it's a dude with literally bare arms, like teddy bear arms. It was pretty hilarious. But anyways, um I think the first best way to increase your vigor is just spend more time outdoors in the direct sun. I think modern day man is like kind of like a sick animal. Even when I'm at the gym, right? I'm like, I'm the only person in the gym with a tan. Like having a tan, a full body tan now. Like I'm so tan now that like when I get naked and about to take a shower, I can see the tan line at like my waistline, and my my speedo crotch area, which is pretty hilarious. But anyways, um, sun exposure and the sun, direct sun, is probably the number one most critical factor for getting our vigor up, especially in the wintertime. So when I walk to the gym or come back from the gym, I always try to do it topless, even if it's like a little bit overcast, to just get maximum UV radiations. And also, I think the more you could kind of live quote unquote off the grid, the better. Like not in the house, not in the office. Like the ideal tech worker would just be walking around 12 hours a day with an iPhone Pro or an iPad Pro or something with cellular data, and be able to do all his Zoom meetings while walking and stuff like that. Just have the earbuds pros in the ears, and be more productive and happy that way. If actually, in fact, I think it would be an interesting thought. Like, the even Steve Jobs would love to have walking meetings. The best thoughts are the ones that come with while walking. So if you want to go on a date, right, maybe just take your go to the gym, take your lady friend, or whatever friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, just don't bring your dog friend, right, to the gym, or just do a yoga class together, core power, whatever. Go on a walking date rather than just like a sitting date. Think about this, like any sitting date where you're just on your butt the whole time usually doesn't result in an interesting conversation. Even me and Cindy, it's like sometimes in the evening when we put down sand, we'll just walk around the block to just have a nice evening stroll, walking talk. It's better. Anything with the legs is better. So that's one thing. Secondly, I mean, this is my theory, right? There's nothing morally wrong or bad about alcohol or weed. My personal theory is I think it just kills your motivation and kills your testosterone. I don't know this 100% for certain, but I could theorize that drinking alcohol. I mean, you see the dudes who drink too much alcohol. They talk about the beer gut, right? What they never talk about is the beer boobs, right? Like dudes who drink too much alcohol or beer or whatever, it's like got at least like a small A cup on you, bro. um, and then people say, yeah, but I drink wine. I'm like, you do realize wine is just sugary grape juice, which also gets you drunk, right? And also my thought is weed is bad because, mead, marijuana, whatever. It's like, yeah, but, it's natural. I'm like, yeah, but so are poisonous mushrooms. Well, we don't consume those every day. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's good. Like people's like, oh, natural honey is good, right? But what they don't realize is, yeah, it'll naturally make you fat still, right? It's like people just think that something is natural is good. Natural ain't always a good thing, right? So, and actually, it's funny, so many dudes are addicted to sports, right? I have a simple ethical thought is like, one should never watch a sport or an activity or something that one has actually never engaged in him or herself. So, for example, if you have never played American football in your life at the high school level or whatever, one shouldn't watch it on TV because it's kind of like, it's almost like porn, but worse. Because at least when you're watching porn, it kind of gets your vigor up, right? With sports, you just kind of sit down, drink beer, just eating bad food. And I think this all lowers your testosterone, which is kind of a bad thing. Anytime you go to Dave and Buster's and you see all these sports things on TV, what, like, it's kind of weird that like watching sports and drinking beer is a thing. I'm like, this is like so bizarre. It's like you're watching these dudes with so much physical courage, like killing each other on the field, and you're just kind of on the sideline, just like drinking alcohol, beer, getting fat. Like it's so bad. And also something I discovered too is that like it's so easy to be a critic, right? It's just like somebody tries to throw a long pass and then dude fumbles the ball, right? And they're like, oh, I can't believe he fumbled the ball. I'm like, bro, you do understand how difficult it is to this is the thing that, okay, so I played American football. How's it going, Jim? Wearing the short sleeve today. Loving the sun. And so I played American football in high school at the sophomore, junior year. Sophomore year I played outside linebacker. Junior year I played middle linebacker. My only regret is I wish I played varsity my senior year, but alas, the kind of was pressured by my tennis coach to not play football. Who knows? Maybe it worked out for the better. But anyways, I think actually if tennis players want to get better at tennis, they should also get into weightlifting. Like, I think it's essentially anyone would benefit from weightlifting. But anyways, so when you're playing American football, you got your helmet on, right? What people don't understand about football is when somebody has never played football before, you got the helmet on, right? Your field of vision is like this. You cannot see shit, right? You can't see shit, right? And so when if you're a wide receiver and you're trying to catch a ball, right? You have to sprint freaking 100%, right? And then you're running this way. You can't even see over your shoulder, and you got pads on, right? So like you could maybe turn your head like that much. You can't turn it all the way back. And essentially what you have to do is you just have to stretch out your arms and just like Hail Mary, hope that you could catch the ball, right? Right? It's insanely difficult, right? Like, or even when you're playing a sport. It's actually funny too because there's so many dudes who know all the rules of and I would say football, I mean American football, and they know all the rules of American football, the stats and stuff like that, right? But the funny thing is, if you played the real football in your life, I played defense, middle linebacker, outside linebacker. People who really play football or played football in high school and stuff, they're actually not super 100% sure how the game is played. So for example, my friend Amos, he played a running back, right? He was super fast, right? And pretty small and nimble. They're just like he had no idea how to play football. He had no idea how the game was played. They're just like, give the ball, just fucking run super duper fast and try to get into the end zone, right? And he once scored a touchdown. He didn't even know he scored a touchdown, right? So it's kind of an interesting, funny critique because the nerds who know all the rules of the game and the intricacies and have never played it, they're the ones who are the commentators, the critiques. Whenever I'm at the gym and I see the talking heads on TV, sports channels, all these like obese fat dudes with beards, in nice suits on ESPN talking about, critiquing LeBron James. I'm like, it's like you guys are a bunch of cowards, right? So I don't think anyone should critique anybody else who hasn't done the activity themselves. This is also the thing that I kind of grinds my gears, where people would critique street photography and street photographers who have never done street photography in their lives, or maybe done it once. It's like, bro, you don't get it, right? And so that's why whenever in the past, when I would meet up other photographers who just do landscape and I show them street photography, like they just don't get it because like there's you have no idea, right? The same thing too is like it's funny because like once you have a kid, right? Certainly everything changes. And people who have never owned a kid, or not owned a kid, it's like I was thinking of owning a dog, right? People who have never had a kid or had a kid of their own, it's difficult for people to understand. Well, it's impossible for people to understand something that one has never personally experienced themselves, right? Like, my friend is like, yeah, I just got a cat, or I got a dog. I love dogs. You should get a dog. I'm like, bro, I got a, bro or girl, I got a, I got a kid. I ain't got no time to take care of another animal, right? They're like, yeah, but they're so easy. Cats are so low maintenance. And I'm like, yeah, but what if you want to travel with the kids? Like, put a cat in a cat hotel. I'm like, nah, just don't do it. Don't do it. It's like, I think the biggest thing that holding people back in terms of their personal potential is pet ownership, owning a dog or a cat. I mean, if people want to own a dog or a cat, like I'm totally for it. I'm like, yeah, then they're cool, whatever, right? But any grown man or grown woman or entrepreneur or innovator who ends up like getting a dog or getting a cat, or especially a cute dog, a cute cat, my biggest critique is essentially once they got the cute cat or and then especially if they don't have any kids, right? Like it's kind of as a means to kind of fill some sort of void in their souls. Like I think even I think even Tim Ferriss, right? Like a few years back, and then I overheard on his podcast that he got like a dog or something, and then people on his podcast asking about his dog. I'm like, I mean, the way I was acting on it, I was like, yeah, Tim, yeah. I mean, I haven't listened to his podcast or whatever in a while, and like, is it because you trying to find love, trying to find companionship? Haven't had a kid yet. Like, I almost feel bad for successful dudes, kind of like in their 40s, mid 40s, high 40s, low 50s, who haven't either A, got married, or B, had kids yet. Like, I'm like, I mean, I just think you're missing out. I think having a kid is probably the world's most wonderful experience. I mean, people say, oh, but once you have a kid, you can be less happy. It's like, that's actually not true. The first year and a half of the kid's life, your pain experience is gonna like thousandfold, right? But I'm like, raising a kid in the early days, I'm like, it's probably not as hard as like Navy SEALs training or training for, Delta Force or whatever, right? And once you sleep train the kid, we sleep trained San when he was 5 months, just let him cry it out. And then once you, whatever, it becomes like infinitely easier and also much more interesting because like now, like, I'm pretty sure he's a genius in terms of all the things he could do, and it amazed me and makes me a lot happier. And also in terms of increasing your vigor, yeah, going to the gym, attempting these kind of this is just a mental framework to think is that I think A, it needs to be insanely challenging, B, maybe something you haven't attempted before, and C, kind of requires some sort of danger or risk or a chance of failure. And I think uncertainty is the road's greatest predictor for happiness. So for example, attempting a new squat, mini squat, unwalk, re-rack, unwalk, or rack pull, whatever. There's always an element of uncertainty and fear behind things. And that's actually what makes things so fun and enjoyable for me. If I knew with 100% certainty that I would actually be able to successfully do it, it would actually have zero interest for me. So yeah, just spend more time, maximum time outdoors, get the UV radiations, go sleeveless, get a vest, go shortless, wear some shorts, go to the gym every day, grunt, scream, get loud, and don't consume any media which gets your testosterone down.